Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And today I would like to offer the yearly forecast for the elemental energy of fire, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius in the Zodiac. So how I like to do these year-long readings is, and this is a general reading, so take what works and leave the rest for someone else. But the way I like to do them is we look at each month through the cards, and it's either going to be like a lesson, something to be aware of, some energy that's coming in or influence that may be there. So this is, again, just kind of in this moment looking ahead to see what 2024 has to offer for our friends in the fire elemental energy. And as this coming year is the Chinese Year of the Dragon, I decided to bring in a different tarot deck because I usually do the fairies and the angels for these, but for this one we're going to bring in the Year of the Dragon tarot. It's the Tarot of Dragons, sorry. So that we're tapping more into this incoming energy, and we're also going to be using the angels because I feel the angels have a lot of wisdom to guide us through the year ahead. So with that, we'll get started. So we'll start off in January with the angels, and we'll just kind of switch back and forth as my guides advise. So for January of 2024, we have Justice, Archangel Ragael, fair and just decisions, do what you know is right and stand up for your beliefs. So January looks like we're starting off with a little bit of a bang here, because it's really saying in January it's time to anchor in. New Year's resolutions are coming into play if you do that. It's also that time of, you just got after Christmas, everything that was kind of extravagant then, now it's time to just buckle down. We've got things to do. January is not an easy month in general, just especially in the north, because unless you're really into snowing and outdoor stuff, you're kind of trapped indoors. So this is a time to really buckle down, make the right decisions, set yourself up for success in this coming year, because that's what Ragael and Justice are here to do, is help you find your new balance, and you to reestablish the connection to source, to the people around you, and yourself as well, so that you can move ahead with authority and power and wisdom in the upcoming year. So let's look at February with the dragons, which is also the Chinese New Year's in February. So that's when the dragons will step forward in their fullest power. And we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is a reminder of a job well done. This is something you're putting in work, you're putting in the effort in February, because you've set everything up in January. So February, you're going to start seeing a little bit of a reward from that, whether it's losing some weight, a new business proposition, a new romantic partner, they said, but this is all about the physical world. So the things that you're setting up in January, you're going to start seeing some kind of a result in February. With the Three of Pentacles, it's usually hard work equals rewards, is the way I usually see this card. And the dragons are saying with this one, it's really about the reward of what you've been doing. So it's not just from January. This is a while. This February is really looking to be a rewarding time for you. Things that you have put into motion, you're going to start seeing the results of that in the month of February. And they're really wanting me to emphasize the relationship thing. So it might be something that you've been working on, maybe a date might be going a little more serious, or you might meet someone new in that time. So something to be excited about, I think. So for March, we have the Nine of Air. A little bit different energy from the last, from February. And it's expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. This one could be considered a negative card, but what my guides are showing me is this is a warning. Everything you set up in January and February, you're starting to see some rewards from that. This is that the reminder or warning to not start focusing on the negative. If there's a hiccup, it's a hiccup. Move on from it. Keep your goals in mind. Keep your focus on the positive. This month might be a good month to really buckle down on some positive affirmations, to really start focusing on getting back into the reminder of what were you planning in January? Was it a new fitness routine? Was it expanding your business? Was, whatever it was you were working on in January. In March, really focus on building on the momentum, because there's a little bit of negative influence coming in, and part of that is going to come after that. Well, look, you started that, but that was like 2 months ago. You don't need to worry about that. And the Nine of Air is saying, be aware of this and plan ahead for it. So when that comes up, you're like, no, I'm still doing what I started in January. What was going on in February, the rewards I was starting to see, I'm going to carry that through. So March is not a negative one. It's more of a heads up. There's something coming in that might not be the most advantageous for you, but it's something that you are fully empowered to deal with as long as you're staying focused. So in our April, we have the Sire of Pentacles. So this one is really bringing forward that protection. And after March's little bit of chaos, this is a kind of a reason to circle the wagons, is what they're showing me. This is that time to be protective, but also be ready to train. So you're protecting, you're investing in your own. That's what he's doing over here. He's protecting and investing, but he's also training. So you've got this aspect of you're circling the wagons, but it's not just because you are protecting what you've already built. It's because you're also encouraging, supporting, and possibly influencing the next generation. And if that is showing up in a relationship form, it's through the relationship and the positive way you and your partner are reacting to each other, and other people are noticing that. You can't keep everything secret, just saying that. With that though, your influence doesn't have to be vocal. You don't have to go out and teach seminars and write books and all that stuff. Sometimes you just living your life is the example to the next generation. But this one is really a reminder to bring the stuff that's important to you close. Don't hide everything that, like your relationship. You don't have to, we don't talk about that. It's okay to talk about it. But it's also saying that with the business and stuff like that, reinvesting into what you've been doing, reinvesting into yourself, and that allows you to build, grow, and possibly apprenticeships, maybe something along that lines, the next generation. So April is really about bringing it in, reinvesting, and setting the future up for positive influences. So let's look at, where are we at here? May. Sorry. May, we're back to the Earth again. We have a lot of Earth energy fire, so this is probably, so far the first half of the year that we're seeing, this is a good indicator that some grounding work needs to come forward. Maybe some of the more adventurous energy that you've got going on, bringing it more into center, and that's just something that they brought in. King of Earth, because right now we've got 3 different cards that are all associated with the Earth. Pentacles are Earth as well. King of Earth, generous, professional, responsible, and practical. A successful time, confidently accept opportunities you're offered, and the Midas touch. So you had a little bit of a, well, not a little bit, this year's been really good. You have a little bit of a reminder in March to pay attention, and in April it was talking about reinvesting. The King of Earth is saying, been there, done that. I have the information, I have the knowledge. I'm still using the tools that I have learned and earned to grow what I'm building, what I'm working on, my relationship, making it deeper, but I'm also willing to share that knowledge. So the King of Earth is a leader in a field. The King of Earth is a leader in industry. The King of Earth really is about, I've built things, I've done all of this stuff, and I'm willing to help those who are willing to put in the work. Don't cast your pearls before swine type thing. So that's what the King of Earth is saying, is this is that time because this is the King of Earth is coming up as you, fire, and that's saying you have done the work. You've prepared a lot of powerful knowledge, but it's also saying don't just give that knowledge to anyone willy-nilly. Be careful with who you share certain things with, and that's not because they're gonna destroy you with it, but they're not going to do anything with it. Your knowledge is valuable, your time is valuable, and things that you have learned hold value. So when you pass those on, you want to pass those on to people who will understand that value, take it for what it is, and launch from that moving forward. So let's look at June. So we got our first half of the year out of the way here, and we have the Temperance card, number 14. Again, we're going back to balance. We're going back to stability and grounding. But with this one, we're also seeing you can't pour from an empty cup. So you have this energy of pouring into someone who wants to learn, going back to the King of Earth in May, but it's also a reminder that if you pour too much, you're going to drain yourself. So in June, you've done a lot of the pre-work. You've done a lot of the outgoing. Things are starting to roll in the way you've planned them for. You've put your intentions out there. The universe has responded positively. This month in June, we're talking now do something for yourself. That self-care reminder is coming up. Through this whole first half of the year so far, there hasn't been a big focus on that. It's been more about pretty active but grounded. This one is the self-care, because you can burn yourself out, and burnout, what they're showing me is for you primarily an emotional burnout. So this is that time to just take a day or two, go camping, go relax, go to like a hot springs or something. Just bring yourself into a point of, I've done the work, I've really invested in the outside world, but now it's time to take care of me. If you have a partner, you take care of them with you, but it's doing that self-care work, doing that inner work, some meditation practices maybe. But June is really about reconnecting with yourself, because everything you've done so far is very grounding, very outwardly focused, very focused on building, advising, protecting, reinvesting. But June is like, okay, pump the brakes. That's a lot of work, and now it's time to have a little bit of play to bring some balance to that. So let's take a peek at July, starting the second half of the year. What do the angels have to say? My deck's being weird. For July for fire. And we have the Ace of Air. Brilliant new ideas and inspiration, seeing the truth of a situation and a challenging beginning. So after that self-care, after that relaxation period, you may be inspired. But the inspiration is going to come with a little bit of a price, and that doesn't mean it's going to cost you in a negative way. It's the universe saying, okay, that's a cool idea. Are you ready for that? And when that what that means is you have these really good ideas that have come up in June, some inspirational ideas that you want to implement in. But then you're faced with the challenge of, I have this thing that's already established, it's doing well, I want to add this in. How can I do this without impacting what I've already got going? The ball's already rolling, how are you adding something else to it? And that's where the Ace of Air is saying, it's time to really focus on what you're building. You have these new ideas, how can you implement them? How can you bring this new stuff into the established business model, the established relationship, the established whatever it is that you've got going? And we have some writers that are watching apparently, because they said that if you're writing, this is a new character that you are inspired to add into a current work, whether it's a series you're working on or like you're halfway through a novel and all of a sudden you have this brilliant new character you want to toss in. How are you going to do that effortlessly and with wisdom? They're showing me talking to the angels, working with angels of communication, and working with angels of inspiration. This is where you're going to really shine. So July is really about bringing in the new, working it into the established system that you have created, not someone else. This is you. And with that, working with your angels and guides to do that in a way that is seamless and positive. So let's see what the dragons have to say for August. We have the Hierophant, again with the teaching. So we've got this, you've done the works, you've done a lot of work over the last few years, and you have really proven yourself in your field, in your relationship. There's trust that has built, and the Hierophant is coming forward to guide and teach. So in August, we're looking at the energy of how can you, just like we did with the King of Earth in May, this is tapping back into that guiding period. Maybe if you've been working with someone as an employee, this is a time to put them to the test and possibly promote if they have the drive and desire to move forward. Relationship wise, this is that guidance. Sorry, I'm listening to this is the time for relationships with guidance, that if the wisdom is there and you're feeling the right pull and you both parties are involved, this is that time to take your relationship to a deeper level, to the next level. But the Hierophant is by doing things with wisdom. Sorry, might have to sneeze here in a second. But you're really working on the wisdom aspect of the relationship, of the business, and you're teaching, you're showing, you are examining, like testing. When I say examining, it's more like testing. So if you're testing the metal, if it's worth advancing at this time, you're testing the metal, whether it's worth promoting that person you've been training. But this is that time of testing and knowledge. They're really focusing on the wisdom part of this, so be aware that the wisdom you have earned is going to work with your intuition in the month of August to help you on the next steps. So let's look at September, and we got 2 cards jumped out for September. We have the Ten of Air, the end of a difficult situation, embracing the change, expect things to get better, recovering from an addiction or problem. Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly, don't underestimate yourself, assert your independence and creativity. So the Ten of Air and the Queen of Fire are coming up because after the things that have kind of been a challenge in July and August, this is saying you've made the right decisions, and well, if you've made the right decisions, things are looking really well, and if you haven't, this is a time to turn things around. So you've got this really powerful energy. The Ten of Air is intellectually you have completed. Intellectually you have come to the end of that cycle, but you've done so in a way that other people did not expect you to do. This is a celebratory energy that's coming up in September. The Queen of Fire is tapping into your fire energy, but the feminine aspect of it, which is warmth and nurturing. So the things that you have done and the things that you've accomplished and built, there's great success is the word that I keep hearing, but it's also that time of celebration and rewarding the things that have went well. This is giving back to community. This is donating to charities from your abundance, and that's what they're saying is abundance, not like if it's giving to something that's going to financially hurt you. No, abundance means you have so much that you can willingly gift to others, and that's the Queen of Fire's energy, is you want to share your abundance and bounty. The Ten of Air is saying this is success. Between the two, though, if something has not been going quite right and you're trying to make that decision as to when to shift stuff, you've been looking at it and you're kind of scratching your head, the universe is saying in September of 2024 is the time to make those adjustments that may be necessary. It doesn't mean that there are, but if there are, and there's always that big if question mark there, if there are things that need to be shifted or changed, September, the light is shining on you to make those changes with success and grace. So let's look at October, heading into the fall-winter area. What do the dragons have to tell us for October, the month of Samhain, Halloween, all that fun stuff? Oh, we're back to Justice. So this is going back to, they're saying double check what you've done in January, back to the first of the year. Your goals, your dreams, the things that you anchored in at that time, checking in on those to see where you are at. Usually, I see this stuff happening around June, July, but they have delayed it because you had a lot of other things going on in June, July. So in October, we're really checking back in. Have you accomplished the things that you set out to do in January? If not, how can you accelerate that, but you're holding balance between the wisdom and what's the other one? Basically, we've got prey and predator here. So you've got work, life, husband, wife, children, parents. There's a balance that you've been trying to hold. In January, you set an intention to grow a certain direction, but in October, it's double checking. Have you overextended yourself? Have you overexerted in one area but not the other? This is the time to really double check and bring things back into balance if they are not there already. They're showing that fire is going to have a really good year this year. For the most part, things are going to stay pretty consistent on a growth angle, but October is the month where if something is not quite right, this is the time to readdress that. Just like the Queen of Fire and the Ten of Air in September were saying, everything's going good, times for celebration, tweak things if necessary. October, it's really focused on big picture balance, and that's what they're advising, is not just tweaking the little things. October is the time to set those new changes, or double check. Okay, pick a word. To check in with what you started in January and to double check that you're actually following through on the things that you started. So let's, okay, that card wants out. Now we're into November for 2024. We have the King of Air, brilliant, impartial, professional, and diplomatic. Speak your mind with confidence, seek out professional advice, balance mental and emotional considerations. So the King of Air is saying you've earned the right to be a leader. You've earned the right to teach. You've earned the right to expand. You have earned the right to have your voice heard in your area of expertise. So in November for fire, the King of Air is saying, look at what you've accomplished, not just in this previous year, but going back, they're saying 3 years. You have built things, relationships, businesses, whatever it is that you've been building, and now you actually have some authority to speak on said subject. You have some authority to be able to show others how to do what you've done. Caveat of, you'll do your own way, but this is the way that worked for me. What can you use out of this? But it's also talking about that diplomatic part, where there might be some mergers, there might be some relationship conflicts going on, but this is the time to emotionally separate if needed so that you can see things from the broader perspective and bring that into alignment. Being diplomatic is being able to see both sides of a situation, the good and the bad, and then how to communicate both into each other. It is an art. I will not call it a skill. It is an art, because people who can do it well, no one notices that they do it. If that's something that you are seeing coming up as a gift for you, then this is the time that it will probably become very important for you. But being professional and impartial is a huge part of being diplomatic, because you don't want to, use slang or swear words in an office meeting when you're surrounded by people who don't talk like that. But the King of Air is really saying, this is, again, your time to shine. This is really about focusing on the things that you've built and how can you expand and share that with others. And doing so in a knowledgeable way. This also might be a time that someone comes in to help mentor you, like you've reached a plateau point and you're kind of not sure how to step up. The wisdom is knowing when to ask for help, and that's the other part of November that's coming up, is knowing when to ask for help if you need it. So let's look at December, the end of the calendar year for the fire energies. What do the dragons have to say for December? Watch my deck of cards go flying because I've stacked two of them together. We have the Knight of Swords. So we're working with air energy again, which is kind of interesting because there's been a lot of air and earth going on here. But the Knight of Swords is movement. It is active conflict, but it's active conflict that you are in control of. So what's went on in October and November has taught you how to deal with what is coming up in December. December's a stressful month most of the time for most people because you got family, Christmas, all of this other traveling, colds, things like that. You have a lot going on, and this is saying even through the chaos, even through the challenges that are coming forward, the so-called battles and war that may be there, you have the ability to pierce through the veil and see what's really going on. You have the ability to separate the factions that are at war with each other and find new balance, find new peace. And so the Knight of Swords is really saying, even though there's some conflict going on, you have gained the knowledge, the wisdom, and the skills to be able to handle it, to maintain it, because this dragon is in control of the tornado. It's not going anywhere without its permission. The sword is actually dissipating the tornado. So you've got this mix of energies. There's conflict. There may be some chaos going on, but through your wisdom and through your knowledge and experience, you're able to contain it and break it down. Working with some of your diplomatic arts from November, the things that you have learned over time, December is actually going to start off a little rough, but by the end of the month, things will have dissipated and life will have returned back to a balanced state. So that is our yearly forecast for fire. Just a general overview, month to month, kind of see what's going on there. If you enjoyed this type of video, please drop a like on the video, subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and comment below if these messages resonate for you or are interesting for you. And with that, I will let you go. Have a great year of 2024, and I will see you in the next video.